Hi, it's me again, and this video is in response to a little message I got from a guy, I'm about to say the name wrong, Steve Covares, who knows, but it was a great item for discussion. Steve asked me about magic tables. Now, if you're learning mathematics at school, this is nothing to do with your times table, but you should learn them, they're magical. No, he was asking what I thought was the best kind of magic table, what kind of magic table do I use, and stuff like that. But the reason I think it's more important than even Steve probably thinks about is I observed something. When you go to see a play, or if you go to see any kind of entertainment act, and maybe the speaker on the wall is a bit wonky or wobbly or whatever, you might notice it, but you might not. Anything that's distracting from the performance can make the audience sometimes unaware of it, but they're unaware why they're not happy with the performance. And if you have a magic table, that's a table that you use in your magic act, and it's a bit wobbly, or there's a chance a prop might fall off it or something like that, the audience, sometimes subliminally, sometimes positively, will be a little nervous for you. So what you got to do is you got to have a magic table that's absolutely rock solid. And over the years I tried loads and loads of different ones. I had what they used to call I think Supreme Magic Solid, a roll-on table. I made my own because, to be honest, I couldn't afford the tables at the time. So there was a roll-on table. Now that's a table that looks like a suitcase, and it's got wheels on the bottom, and the suitcase opens up and the top flips over, and you've got yourself all your props in the bottom, which on the face of it is not a bad design, except that you, the grand magician, have to keep bending down and going into the bottom of the table to get stuff out. I tend to still do that with the table I've got now, but I don't think it's very elegant. And again, it depends on what kind of act you are doing. I'm comedy, so I'm okay. I can cover this stuff. I'm supposed to look stupid. Now, there was another table I made, and I'll show you a plan of that if you like. And that was a good, solid looking front table, but in fact it was just a piece of quarter ply. It had two struts down the back on which there were two side flaps that folded in onto each other, and the top had a split across the top of the hinge, and that folded down onto the lot, so the whole thing was flat. I'll show you a kind of plan design of that. If you're going to have a table and you're going to work on the table, I think that should be adjustable for your height, or made for you, made for your height. I'm kind of well known for doing a cup and ball routine, and I can tell you now that I don't have to think about it. I know that when my hand comes out of my pocket to pick up the cup, that travelling distance, that as I come across like that, that's the height of my table. I don't have to think about it at all. And so you should make your table fit your height. If you're a real tall guy, up there, fine. Okay, what's the weather like up there? Okay, never been there. Right, so so that's that one design. I had another, I designed this myself. I was proud of this, and I don't know what happened to it, but I was going to work in Las Vegas at a place called the Tropicana, and I didn't want to walk on stage, I never do really, with a ton of stuff, you know. I didn't want to stage wait while an MC had to go out in front and introduce me. I liked carrying my stuff on, and this was a box about yay square, you know, a cube like that, and my hand went in the top and held a handle, and when I got to the stage, okay, I kind of did a bow, and as I did the bow, the box hit the stage. I twisted the handle, lifted, twisted the handle, lifted, and out of the bottom box came, which was designed like a dice, perfect for Vegas, came another dice which twisted at 45 degrees, and so that sat on top of the other box, and then out of that came another box, and the top handle then locked off. And so I had my table to my height, and all my props were in the top box. Okay, and at the end of the act, all I had to do was twist, twist, twist as I'm taking a bow, and down it went, was able to be picked up and walked off. Love to know what happened to that. Who's got that out there? I don't know where it went. There, in one of the many moves maybe. Now the box I use now travels in a flight case. And I noticed that flight cases look pretty good. You know, they still, even now in 2013, they look modern. So I had a box for my act. I've used this design most of my working life. I came up with it quite early on, and it's a box about that high, and then halfway, well, that far down, there's a floor, and the rest is cupboard, if you like, in the back. And so that's what I work out of. Most of my props come in and out of the bottom, the cupboard, and the big feature in the act, the egg, lemon and walnut routine, which I perform forever, they're all the bits are fitted in the top of there. You'll find that most professionals have on their tables, in their tables, whatever, the props never vary. They're always in exactly the same place, so your hand can just go and pick it up without even looking at it. See, if I'm standing behind my box, I know, boink, I know that's where the cup is for the cup and the ball. If I go to the middle, I know where that's the glass is to break the egg into. Stuff like that. You should list your act, decide what you want to do with it. Do you want the props always on display? Maybe good thing, maybe not. Do you want to reveal them? How are you going to reveal them? Are they going to be covered with a cloth, fancy cloth? Are they going to rise up out of the table and all that jazz? It's entirely up to what you're doing, but always make sure your table is solid, doesn't shake, doesn't wobble. Don't give the audience anything to not like, okay? And that means including your act.